Before we get into this video, I want to remind you that I'm uploading videos every single day on my second channel. If you click the link below in the description and the pinned comment, and also in this video, I'm going to be heavily featuring the Facebook private Muckers group, which is our little community where we talk about the videos after I post them. You also talk about your life on there. I talk about mine. It's really fun. It's free. It's literally just like a community over there. And if you go click the link down below, request to join, I will accept you and join the scary world of the Muckers. Okay, on with the video. I love you. Hi Muckers, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you're all having the best day ever. Thank you so much for clicking on my video today. I really appreciate you being here, and I really mean that. Okay, we have got to talk. Okay, so there has been this big discussion that has been happening for the past 24 hours exactly at the time that I am filming. I literally just put on some lip plumping lip gloss from Ariana Grande. I literally have it right here. And my lips are literally burning so much right now. I feel like I've just ate so much like spicy food and I've like let the sauce go around my lips. So if I'm going like this in the video, it's because of that. Anyway, there's been this big conversation happening on social media for the past 24 hours because Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star have had their official comeback together with their video, The Cancelled World of Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star, in which features them talking about being cancelled and the fact that the first makeup collab was a cash grab allegedly, and they're saying that's all fake, and they're saying that they were planning on making a Shane 2 palette, a Conspiracy 2 palette, but they scrapped that because they got cancelled and feel bad for us, and you know, song and dance and la 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 and all this, right? Now, I made a video on it yesterday, and I talked about the fact that it kind of just came across like nothing had ever changed. And I don't mean that in a positive way. I mean that in a way of Shane's humor has not changed. And for sometimes, you know, that's enjoyable for people. You know, it's like, it's familiar. But with Shane, how can you go through all of that cancellation? How can you go through the world exposing the worst of you? How can you go through all of this, saying that you've changed, saying that you're a different person now? And when we watch this new video, it's almost like you're the exact same comedy style, humor style, editing. It just shows no growth as a person, even if we're strictly talking creatively here. Like, it's really weird. And it was just a very lackluster comeback, I'm gonna be honest. Like, a lot of people were expecting a big thing because it was Shane and Jeffree, and they're both putting a lot on the line here to be, you know, professionally back together again. And the video was just kind of there. Like, nothing really happened. And so it's setting up that I would assume that by the end of the episode, you know, there's 3 of them, they will probably release this palette that was, you know, the scrapped one because they were cancelled and, you know, they couldn't release it and they worked so hard on it. Then it will get the audience interested again, like an infomercial, like the Conspiracy series, which then makes people feel involved in the palette and makes them want to buy it. Now, keep in mind, one of the main reasons for this as well, and even if it's not this palette that they're selling, they will be selling something by the end of this, whether it's a week after it or a month after it, it's because they waited until November to make this series. Now, if you're not aware, and I would assume that most people who do not do YouTube as a job aren't, the reason that a lot of YouTubers are giving Shane and Jeffree a lot of criticism right now is because they are doing this and they've waited this long to make the most amount of money off of their audience. Now, a lot of people were like, oh my god, like, they've came back at the perfect time, like, this is when they feel comfortable, and, you know, they've waited until that they feel that they trust themselves and that they feel confident enough. That's all bullshit, and that's what they want you to believe. Let me tell you something. November and December, as a YouTuber, is when you will make most money on the platform, because YouTube are paying more to the sponsorships because, or sorry, the advertisers are paying more to YouTube because advertisers want people to be reminded of their brand when they're buying, you know, Christmas gifts or whatever like that. And also, it's when people are buying Christmas gifts. So if they release a product, more people will buy it now because they have Christmas presents for themselves or for their parents or for their friends or whatever. So this argument that they waited until they were comfortable enough to come back is flat out bullshit. And it just goes to show how unintelligent their audience is, because they did the same thing with the Conspiracy palette, the November launch, the November making the Google AdSense, the YouTube money, and also people were buying Christmas presents. They're doing the same thing this time, which goes to show that it's another calculated move. Now, that's all well and good if they want to do that again, but they're making such a big point that they've changed and they've grown, yet they're doing even the same professional, what's the word I'm looking for? Professional rollout again. Like the exact same thing. But anyway, that was my opinion on the series. I just kind of felt that it was lackluster. Again, it was called The Cancelled World of Jeffree Star and Shane Dawson, and it has 1 million views at the time of filming this video, which again goes to show the drop-off, because all of the previous ones that they had done together... I'm not even going to guess. I'm just going to literally tell you verbatim what we're dealing with here. Okay, so the first episode of the first Jeffree series got 30 million views, and... Oh, sorry, I'm wrong. The first one with Jeffree got 50 million views. So we're dealing with 50 million views, and the first Jeffree series, I'm pretty sure within the first couple days, initially got 5 million. It was ranging from 5 million to 10 million views, and they're all comfortably sitting at around now like 20 to 30 million. So again, this one, by the standards that they have set, is underperforming, but I think that people are just kind of over it. Like, they've seen what they did with the conspiracy. They know now that they were used to like buy a product, and I just think that people are, number one, watching this and realizing that, oh, you know, Shane necessarily hasn't changed in any way. And whether that's growth as a person or just growth as a YouTuber, like, it feels like we're watching a video from 2014 again. And that's what I'm reading a lot of the criticism. And then, I don't know. But anyway, I wrote on my Facebook Muckers group, which if you're not on it, you can click the link below and become a part of the community. It's free, just request to join and I will accept you. It's basically the #1 way to be involved in videos. I wrote a bunch of things last night on it, but basically I wrote, for a video, what was your response to the comeback of Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star? I left it very open-ended. I didn't want to in any way change or manipulate what you were going to say, or because, you know, I could have written like, do you think it was lackluster? Do you think it was amazing? No, I completely just wrote, what was your opinion of it? Because I am not going to influence in any way what the muckers want to say about here. And I don't want any people in my comments being like, oh, this is just an echo chamber. No, 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 no. These people have their own opinions and we're going to get to them. So, there's going to be like no order that I'm reading these out. There is 100 comments on here and I'm literally just going to go from the bottom and scroll, read one, scroll, read one. So... Starting off, we have Shauna said, it's all for money. They're pretty smart because they know that people will hate watch it or love watch it. And I believe they're going to promote a palette, probably a cancelled palette. And they think they're going to turn around and have some redemption arc together. Now, I don't know if they'll have a redemption arc together because I don't ever see Jeffree Star and Shane Dawson being the level of success of what they once were. I just think that their humor and style is like, it's like a time capsule of like 2016. But I do think that for the way of them to both be successful together, they do need to come together because that's when they have most amount of power. We saw that Shane went back to making conspiracy videos and Halloween videos and podcasts, all of the things that was once successful for him, and they were all severely underperforming. He was getting, by his standards, under 1 million views on most of them, which is awful for a channel with nearly 22 million subscribers. That ratio is like Death Noodles-esque. So the only thing that works for Shane professionally now is being with Jeffree. However, Jeffree has been performing well on TikTok without Shane. Hold on, my mother sent me a goodnight text, so I need to respond to this. Love you, good night. Sorry, priorities. But yeah, Jeffree has been performing well without Shane on certain platforms. But again, Shane really does need Jeffree, which is ironic because there was a time when it was Jeffree needed Shane, not the other way about. But Shane's career is just like, you know, a whoopee cushion right now. Alright, so Ellen said it was complete chaos. Why were we watching the dogs go to the vet and there were so many excessive zooming in on Shane's crotch with non-explained random flashbacks to making another palette? Confusing time skips and there was no storyline that was clear at all. Now this is a very valid point because there were so many things that were just thrown into this video and normally people would watch that and be like, oh my god, this is so fun, but that was like a time capsule of like 2016, like chaotic energy. Now that just appears messy to us, and especially if you want us to take us, if you want us to take you seriously as like a filmmaker like Shane Dawson does, or whatever he says. Alright, so again, Aaron said, honest question, I don't understand the editing. It was the palette 1 minute, deep question 1 minute, daily life update 1 minute, then back to the palette. Then they said they'd reveal at the end, but left it on to be continued. Yeah, so they were building up this big reveal at the end, and then by the time of the reveal, they were like, black screen. And that was the end of the episode. And it just kind of felt like, so what did we watch? And what was that for? And also, it's interesting to note that, like, we are allowed to criticize Shane and Jeffree. We are allowed to criticize this video. And the fans normally like to be like, oh, cancel culture, like, won and cancel them. No, there's no such thing as cancel culture. Let me tell you something. If there was a thing as cancel culture, Shane Dawson would never have a platform ever again. They were #1 on YouTube trending, so we can talk about something that's trending on YouTube right now. YouTube put it there, and we want to talk about it. So that is to answer all the little Shanies in the comments. Alright, okay, so I'm gonna scroll down and we'll go. Okay, so Angelica said, I feel like he honestly just threw in whatever old clips he had and mashed it in with current stuff just to make the timestamp longer, which again, because he was trying to make most amount of money. Again, he waited until November, and I always say this, and I don't mean to be shady, but as someone who's understood YouTube as a job now, please be aware of the YouTubers that only upload the last 2 months of the year and don't upload the rest of the year, and in those last 2 months, like to be like, I love you so much, you're my babies, I've missed you so much, I've just been working on myself until this moment, but I'm back and making content. No, that's not the truth. They're just using this strictly as a job. And I appreciate whenever YouTubers upload Do you hear Milo meowing? Do you want to know why he's meowing? Because I can only assume that he is waiting at the food bowl for Tyler, his brother, to finish, and he just meows at him until he leaves. He's so annoying. He's like such an annoying little brother. But anyway, yeah, I really respect YouTubers that upload throughout the year, even if it's not daily, but don't just like land on their audience the last 2 months of the year trying to make money and then, you know, try to force a parasocial relationship. It's like, that shit pisses me off, and I especially doing it myself, and I understand statistics and stuff like that now, and that's what Shane and Jeffree are doing. Sorry, not Jeffree, Shane. Alright, okay, to make the timestamp longer, Shane seems to think that a 45+ minute long video automatically equals quality content, and I think that this is such a good point about Shane consistently on YouTube. He loves to gloat about the fact that hour-long video, incoming, hour-long video. I can have an hour-long video if I could make this an hour-long video. Listen, I'm just scrolling on my fucking Be Real right now. I could make this an hour-long video, and I could then post on my social media. Oh, let me go on Twitter too then. I could then post and be like, oh my god, hour-long drama video today, and you would be like, oh my god, an hour-long, you worked so hard, Adam. No, I'm sitting here in silence, scrolling on Twitter, and talking every couple minutes. That's what Shane videos feel like, and I think that that is such a good point about, that he like gloats about, oh my god, hour-long video, whatever. Great point, Angelica. This is such a mess. The whole idea of them trying to come back by clinging on to each other and making jokes out of the situation shows how little they've changed or care. Good point. Laura said, I think one of the most annoying things about the video was the fact that Shane shows no growth and his humor is in the past. It's the same jokes that he was telling years ago. Not that I would expect any growth or accountability from him in the first place, and like other comments mentioned here, the video was very, very, very choppy in flow in regard to topic changing and trying to keep the viewer engaged with the content. I understand what they were trying to attempt to do by changing topics throughout the video between the palette and questions to Shane and the family, but it fell flat and it did not work. I agree with what you said in your video that everything felt very rushed. Heather said, another blatant cash grab. No matter how unplanned Shane claims to be, I suspect a palette will be sold after the series due to high fan demand. Also, the editing is incredibly poor. Shane's documentaries were edited better with Shane's input. And this is something, I was actually talking to Rich Lux about this last night, but Rich had texted me and said, let me pull it up actually. He was like, did Shane shade Andrew by not mentioning him paying him half? And I wrote back and I said, I don't think it was shade. What it was, though, was rude. Because in the video, Shane goes, oh, and I had to pay my partner at the time 25%. He was trying to make a point that he actually didn't make so much money off this palette because he had to break it up. And I said, I don't think it was shade that he said that, but it was rude because Andrew literally came up with the conspiracy packaging, not Shane or Jeffree. And Rich was like, you're right. And it basically was that, like, the erasure of Andrew in this new video is, like, shocking. But it's very heavily noted because Andrew really was the, like, charisma of Shane videos, in my opinion. Alright. Miranda said, I'm not sure if his editing is just rusty, but I couldn't stand the lack of a storyline, or maybe there was just one, but it was extremely boring. It seemed like an hour-long trailer for the next 2 parts, and again, I don't know if it boils down to the fact he hasn't edited in so long or whatever like that, but it was just clips. It was like watching someone's Snapchat story. And sometimes even that's more interesting. Like, alright, okay, so Nikita said, even though I wasn't going to be thrilled, even if it was a really good, well-produced video, it was really lame. I mean, I'd like to say the production was good, but no, it was just a very big L in my eyes. Nothing to talk about, just a bunch of rehashed jokes and concepts, and I think that that's what people are focusing on right now, that it literally just boils down to the fact that this kind of just is something we've seen from Shane before, and that's not a problem, but whenever you're hyping this up so much, the comeback, the cancellation, the blah, and then it's the exact same thing we've watched like a couple of years ago and a couple of years before that, it kind of just falls flat. Hold on, Milo is running in here, and he's trying to gnaw on my camera cords, so we are going to lock him out. Jesus, from screaming at the food bowl to try to eat my camera. He's a little rebellious one. Anyone else have a British short hair cat? They are definitely something. Alright, okay, we'll read out a couple more. So, we have one from Tad Cruz. The editing was really trippy confusing, but it's the same as the same series. What, it's the same as the same series? I think you mean the first series? Just approaching the cancellation, I did like to see Ryland's mom's opinion, because I was curious on what they thought what it was about. I did like seeing the dogs, but God give them strength with their crazy owners. Alright, we'll go down and scroll to, like, nearing the end, so we're getting as many people as possible. Angela said, Angela Rice. I don't feel like I'm pronouncing that name right. Angela. Oh my god, I'm so stupid. Angela. Okay. Angela! Oh, there it was! What the fuck? Angela, Adam. Like, I knew I was saying it wrong. For some reason, there was nothing connecting in my brain in that moment. I apologize. Jesus Christ, Angela. Angela Rice, I love you. I'm sorry for buffering for a moment there. My god, how embarrassing. Angela said, Angela. I was like so close, but I was just so far away from it. Anyway, I know a lot of people like the part with Ryland's mom, but it made me kind of sad to see how bamboozled they seem to be about Shane. She honestly believes that the first pallet wasn't a cash grab, because they got so much money from it too, and Ryland got so much money, and that pallet, the cash grab, then made it that they could afford the house by Ryland's family, so now they're closer to Shane and Ryland, their children, because of the pallet, which was a cash grab. So obviously they're not going to be like, it was a cash grab. And it honestly just seemed really scripted. But instead was him getting excited and throwing himself into a crazy new creative venture. And yet, did she not see Shane's resignation from the beauty world? Sorry, I just laugh at it because the fucking leaving the beauty world circus is just floating in my head again. Not one time in that whole jumbled mess about goodbye did he sound like he actually believed he was part of the beauty community. Instead, he sounded like a judgmental guest that had overstayed their welcome and had the audacity to have this condescending tone and be very rude as they walked out the door. As for the rest of it, the two words that come to mind is typical shit. Typical Shane shit and typical Jeffree shit. Zero growth between the two of them. There's no surprises there. This is also just like, I don't even think Jeffree was in it enough to get criticism. I don't know if that's an unpopular opinion, but like, I can't believe, and Jeffree did this last year where he did this video where he was like, regarding our conspiracy palette being in like TJ Maxx or Nordstrom Rack or something. And the title and thumbnail was with Shane Dawson. And the thumbnail was Shane Dawson as if Shane was in the video. And Shane in the video was the last 30 seconds on a FaceTime call. And it was like, they literally clickbaited as if it was a collab when it wasn't, just to get clicks. And that's what this seemed like, where it was like, Jeffree really wasn't included in this video, and I can't believe it was titled The Cancelled World of Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star, and Jeffree's bigger in the thumbnail than what Shane is, and Jeffree's not even in it! It was so weird. Okay, we'll go on to another one. So, we have... Alright, I'm really trying to scroll down, because I'm trying to, like, get this as, like, fair as possible, but, like, no one seems to be loving it. I'm trying to find a positive one here. Okay, there's... I'm trying to find a positive one. Positive one. Okay, I don't know if this is a positive one, but it looks like an interesting one. Kaylee said, when he was showing flashbacks to prove how passionate he was about makeup, it's so cruel that people called it a cash grab, is like the narrative that he was doing. All I could think about was when Shane said, I want you to make me rich in the first 10 minutes of the first video they ever did together. And also, what the fuck was the editing? Okay, well, that wasn't a positive one. Trying to find a positive one. Okay, wait, here we go, a positive one. Also, Sylvia deserves more recognition. So she was one of the workers who was working on the shades, and you saw her whenever Jeffree and Shane were together in the lab. Okay, here's a positive one, but it has nothing to do with Shane or Jeffree. It's still positive in terms of the series, though, so we're getting somewhere. Also, Sylvia deserves more recognition. She literally pulled out ingredients and made that green shade from scratch before our very eyes. I don't want a Shane palette, I want a Sylvia palette. You know what, Sylvia? Slay. Okay, so I think that's all I'm gonna read. There is a lot of other ones on here. You can go over to the Facebook Muckers group in the link below if you want to see the rest of them. But yeah, my opinion is it just kind of feels like the same old shit. Like, I actually would have give credit where credit was due if they had done something a little bit outside of the box, especially for the first video back, which most people are going to watch. Like, the views are going to drop down from the next two. That's how it works. And it was like, wow, like, that was the big reveal. And if we're speaking about the big reveal that you teased in the first season, or first episode, sorry, it didn't even happen, and you're saying it's coming in the second one. And then in the second one, you'll be like, it's coming in the third one. And then in the third one, it'll be underwhelming. I don't know, Muckers. Let me know your opinion. Let me know your opinion down below. Let me know your opinion on the Facebook group if you join it. Again, I'm uploading videos every single day on my second channel. I appreciate you if you go over there. I appreciate you for watching this one. Let me know your opinion about it. And whenever these come out in like order, I will be going through them. So yeah, let's talk about it. It just kind of like felt reductive. Is that good? Look it up. If anyone knows that reference, comment it below, and I fucking love you for that. It feels reductive. Is that good? Look it up. If you know it, I love you. Okay, I love you, Muckers, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye. Mwah.